sponsor Asset Strategies, or ASI for short. ASI is a precious metals powerhouse. They sell gold and silver. Never in history.
Good morning, everyone.
A more important moment to buy gold and silver. ASI has been in business for 39 years. They've served over 20,000 clients and sold $5 billion worth of gold, silver, and precious metals with zero complaints. Last year, gold saw gains of 25%. Silver nearly doubled gold's performance. Now Democrats are in charge. Green New Deal, open borders, free healthcare for illegals, bailout broke cities and states. The debt is about to go through the stratosphere. The time to buy is now. The owners of ASI, Michael and Rich Checken, have been my close personal friends
I'm
for
just gonna
16
turn
years.
this
ASI is the
down a
company
little.
I trust when it comes to buying and selling precious metals. Call now to receive a free consultation and a free 1-ounce Silver Eagle with every qualifying purchase when you mention the Wayne Allen Root Show. Call 800-831-0007. That's 800-831-0007 or visit assetstrategies.com.
One person was killed and 7 other people were injured when a shooter opened fire inside a Dallas nightclub. Police were called to the Prime Bar in Dallas at about 1:30 in the morning and found 8 people shot. Daisy Navarrete was killed. Police said the other victims, 3 women and 4 men, all in their 20s, were taken to the hospital. Police say they know the suspect and he's still at large. The Biden administration said it plans to send a combined 4 million doses of the AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccine to Mexico and Canada as the shot is being considered for approval in the U.S. House Press Secretary Jen Psaki told reporters during the press briefing that they're in the process of finalizing the loan of 2.5 million doses of the vaccine to Mexico and 1.5 million to Canada. The FDA has approved use of 3 vaccines with others, including the AstraZeneca vaccine. You're listening to USA Radio News.
Now you can fly anywhere in the world and pay discount prices on your
Yeah, you're
airline
gonna plug
tickets.
behind spring
Book a
is
flight
spring
today
coming
to
up?
London,
When is
Paris,
it?
Madrid,
And where is
or
it?
anywhere
You got
else
her
you
Facebook
wanna
thing?
go.
I don't. I haven't checked Facebook.
Call the International
When
Travel
is it?
Start some next week.
right
We
now
want to
at
give her
low-cost airlines.
I will.
800-215-5141.
Just you gotta tell me when it is or where it is.
Yeah, get on the Facebook page now. That's about light up.
That's 800-215-5141.
Because I don't check Facebook anymore.
Oh, I get it.
Bitter cold was chillier than any Februaries in the past. You were right. It was. New data from the
Sure it
National
was. It's freezing.
Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration puts February 2021 as the coldest in more than 30 years in the U.S. North America, Scandinavia, and Northern Asia were all significantly below average in temperatures last month. The Central and Eastern Tropical Pacific Ocean, as well as Australia and parts of the
number's the
Southern
new,
Oceans, were
commercial?
also
What new
notably
com-
colder
the new
during
one, yeah.
February
Hold on.
than in previous years. With a quick recap on what happened yesterday with March Madness,
50.
here's Dan Rucky from the USA Radio News Ohio Bureau.
It was another day of upsets Saturday in the NCAA
Well, both of
tournament.
them the
13th
first-
seeded
the
Ohio
first,
knocked off the
hold on.
defending
Right.
national champions Virginia 62-58. 10 seeded Maryland knocked off the 7 seed in the East UConn 63-54. 11 seeded UCLA marched on after beating the 6 seed BYU 73-62. And in just their second NCAA tournament game in program history, the 14th seeded Abilene Christian Wildcats shocked 3rd seeded Texas 53-52. Some higher seeds also fought off tough challenges. 2nd seeded Alabama survived 15th seeded Iona 68-55. Creighton held off UC Santa Barbara 63-62. 3rd seeded Kansas overcame an 8-point halftime deficit to beat 14th seeded Eastern Washington at 93-84. And Florida State got away from UNC Greensboro 64-54.
For USA Radio News, I'm Wendy King.
The opinions expressed on this program are those of the host and do not express the views of WBBF ownership or Hometown Talk Radio. Content aired on all programs are those of the host and their guests. Hey, Joey, what's happening? I mean, what's happening in Middleboro and surrounding towns? It's time for the Middleboro Week in Review with your host, Joey Driscoll. Stay tuned for news, Middleboro news, here on AM 1530 WBBF. Hey, Joey, what's happening?
And good morning, everyone, and welcome to Middleboro Review. Today is March 21st, 2021, 3/21/21. So that must be one of those dates where it's I don't know what they call it, but where or two or all three dates are kind of the same. So 3/21/21. So interesting little thing there. But yeah, other than that, moving on there. 23 degrees currently in Middleboro. And it's going to be 63 for the high today. So there'll be a 40-degree difference in where it is right now. And 59 tomorrow. No rain in the forecast up until Friday. So we got a good week coming up. In Taunton, 24 degrees, 63 for the high. Monday, 59 for the high. Driscoll, North Dakota, 38 currently, 56 for the high. And there's rain in the forecast today in Driscoll, North Dakota. And in Driscoll, Texas, 47 degrees right now, 78 for the high. A nice sunny day in Driscoll, Texas in late March. Let's say good morning to Don.
Good morning, Joe.
How are you, Don?
I'm looking out the window and I'm seeing that the sun is starting to come up. Last week, it was pretty pitch dark. So a week's time, we get a little sunshine here in the morning. So I think in a couple of weeks, we'll have full sunshine by the time we go on the air at 7 o'clock. So it's always, you always do the trade-off when you do the clocks because you lose it a little in the morning as far as daylight. It's dark again. It's pretty dark when you get up again to go to work. But now you're starting to see it. It's nice when it's light till almost 7:30. It's great. But they're starting to see it on this end now. I'll say another 2 or 3 weeks and we'll see more sunshine than darkness, which is good because it puts everyone in a good mood when you see more daylight. I never like getting up when it's dark out. No one does. Get up and it's dark. You come home and it's dark. Oh, great.
All right.
Beautiful Sunday morning.
We have a jam-packed show planned for you today. We're going to talk about Middleboro elections again today. We'll have an update on that for everyone. We will have an update on some closures, some ramp closures on Route 24 and 44 pertaining to the 4424 project. We'll have some updates on that. There'll be some ramp closures Monday through Thursday of this upcoming week. We have a new sponsor that we want to talk about too, which we'll be playing today. Starting today, a new sponsor who has joined Middleboro Review. So we'll talk about them as well. And we'll have much, much more as well. Free agency update for the Patriots. And that'll be during our sports segment. The March Madness tournament is underway too. But let's start off with the Route 24-44 bridge replacement project because there's some updates on that we want to talk about. There will be some ramp closures coming up. And get that real quick. That is coming up Monday through Thursday here. And that will be, hold on one second, being a little slow today. All right, here we go. Now we have closure of Route 44 eastbound to Route 24 southbound ramp Monday, March 22nd, and Tuesday, March 23rd, from 8:30 a.m. to 3 p.m. each day. Those are the first 2 days of ramp closures. That will be on the southbound ramp of Route 24. The northbound ramp of Route 24 will be closed starting Wednesday, March 24th, and Thursday, March 25th, 8:30 a.m. to 3 p.m. So, we will have ramp closures over the next couple of days. Vehicles traveling on Route 44 eastbound wishing to take the ramps on Route 24 north or southbound should continue on Route 44 eastbound to Paramount Drive. Paramount Drive is just before the Lowe's. You turn left onto Route 44 westbound and exit off the appropriate ramp to Route 24 northbound or southbound. So that will be the detour there. We are right now currently in Stage 3. So that will be a thing for this week. Detours, ramp closures. So if you take Route 24 to go to work, please leave a little earlier to allow you to have enough time to get to work on time, because there will be ramp closures, and there may be delays, traffic, and things of that nature. So they're closing in on the end of that project. They're getting there. They have a little bit of paving to do. They do, and sidewalks to do. That is one of the reasons why the ramps are closed for Route 24 this week, to do sidewalks. They want to have the ramps clear of any cars, and they'll be doing the sidewalks and doing some other little things on the ramps as well to get them ready, as we are closing in on pretty much close to the end. There's still some things that they need to do with the project, the paving that they have to do. So, Don, what are your thoughts on this?
'Tis the season. Weather's warming up, so they can start finishing up. They can do their landscaping. They can. It looks like they got one more layer of paving to do,
Yep.
and then we do all the line striping, and hopefully they're gonna have those cool reflectors in the middle, and the arrows, and
Yeah.
the straightaways, and all that good stuff, because they did such a wonderful job on Route 44 with did a real good job on lining everything and putting everything into perspective as far as the lines. The rotary, they did a good job. It's pretty much, I think more people drive on it. It runs better. Don't you agree than when they first did
Oh,
it?
absolutely. 100% I
Well,
agree.
I know people come from out of town who get a little. This summer you got to be a little careful because a lot of tourists are coming and they don't really
Yes.
know the layout. But as far as anybody who's driving, who's locally, I think they know it because it's pretty smooth. No one's bumping into you anymore, right, Joe?
No. While we're on the subject of construction updates, let's give a little bit of a construction update about South Coast Rail. Phase 1 early action construction is substantially complete. Culvert work is complete, or almost complete. That will be done right around June. The 4 bridge replacement updates. The bridges have pretty much been done. The phase 1 early demolition work, some of it has been done. I don't know if there will be any more, but we've mentioned a whole bunch of them before. This list hasn't really changed, so if there's any updates to that list, we'll talk about that. 24-hour-a-day drainage work is happening. Next week, the contractor will work continuously from Wednesday throughout the weekend within the railroad right-of-way in Fall River. And that will be Wednesday, March 24th to Monday the 29th. That is removal and replacement of culvert FR11, located south of New Street in Fall River. Work on Middleboro Secondary and New Bedford line update. This week and next, the contractor will continue to clear trees and install erosion controls along the right-of-way from the new Middleboro Station site to the East Taunton site. Other ongoing work will include ground survey, site preparation, drainage, and utility installation, and equipment, material, and soil deliveries occurring at the station and layover sites along the railroad right-of-way from Middleboro to New Bedford. Next week, the contractor begins the installation of steel sheeting for retaining walls in the railroad right-of-way from I-95 in Middleboro to Old Colony Ave in Taunton.
I-495.
I-495, yes. And tree cutting along the railroad corridor will be necessary as well to ensure unobstructed service. So that is happening as well. And Fall River Secondary Main Line update, delivery of railroad ties to Campanelli Drive. Over the duration of this project, the contractor will be installing new track along the South Coast Rail Corridor. Construction of this track involves the delivery of new railroad ties. Deliveries began in December and will continue every few weeks until early 2021, so that is pretty much being completed. This week and next, the contractor will continue to perform ground surveys, drainage, utilities, clear trees, erosion controls, and a lot of other things as well in Fall River. And there's also some retaining wall stuff going on. The contractor continues the installation of steel sheeting and retaining walls for the railroad right-of-way in a sonnet from Beechwood Road to Forge Road. Okay, so that is an update on South Coast Rail. We'll try to have an update every couple of times a month. As construction continues, there seems to be every week, every time we mention it, and it is more than, we do it like maybe once every 2 weeks. There seems to be a lot of updates to tell you. So there's moving right along. So we'll have that over the coming months as the South Coast Rail project continues. And me and Don actually went to see where the new station in Middleboro is going to be. Right, Don?
Yeah, I believe it's, looks like they're clearing it, the back part, over near the old Colonial Ford off of 105. There's that entrance that goes into the facility where the layover trains. We went there. There's a few houses across the tracks, and it looks like it's right there is where they're doing it. Right there, they're building the new station. I'm not sure where the parking's going to be. If that's where they got to come in and out of, as far as parking. So it'd be interesting to see. It's lower, so I'm assuming. I don't know for sure, but assuming the entrance is going to be off of 105 maybe, but who knows, it could be anywhere.
All right, 7:21. We're going to take a quick break. You're listening to Middleboro Review on 1530 AM, 99.7 FM. Tune in on WVBF 1530. The audio now number is 605-562-7958. YouTube, Middleboro Review, all lowercase, and the Facebook page as well. So there's many ways to listen to us, and there's also many ways to listen to WVBF 24/7. So we'll be back when we finish up these commercial ads. Here we go.
You'll give her a plug in a second. Yeah.
Yep.
Take grab the phone.
When I come out of the break.
Grab the phone. I'll. She doesn't have an address on the Facebook page, but I know the address, so I'll just tell her what you have to say it.
All right.
But I think she's starting that weekly now.
Sparksy Auto Body located
Got it.
at 48
She's
Sparks
performed a
Street,
couple
Milton,
times. She's gone
Massachusetts.
out of the way for her. So she go out of the way for her. You know, play.
Auto service for
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, she's a
Right
fun
repair
station.
shop for all major insurance
Good
companies.
person.
You should reach them at 508-583-1495. They're open Monday through Thursday, 8 to 5, and 8 to 4.
You playing the Nicaragua one?
Call them today.
No,
Will not
I had to play the second break
508-583-1495.
because that's how it's set up.
Combat Veteran Motorcycles
Is that how it just set it up?
Mm-hmm.
An association of
You
combat
know.
veterans from all branches of the United States Armed Forces who ride motorcycles as a hobby. Our mission is to support those who have defended our country and freedoms. Our focus is to help veteran care facilities provide a warm meal, clothing, shelter, and guidance, or simply to say thank you and welcome home. We have members from nearly all 50 states and living abroad. Many members continue to serve in our armed forces, with several serving in combat areas now. We sponsor and or participate in many motorcycle-related charity events each year, and as a nonprofit organization, donate to various veteran care facilities and veteran charities. To learn more about the Combat Veteran Motorcycle Association and how you can join or support, please visit cvma2-2.org.
St. Vincent de Paul of Sacred Heart Church in Middleboro serves the residents of the towns of Middleboro, Lakeville, Carver, and Rochester. Our main source of aid to families in these communities is
You want to grab my phone? While
twice weekly, on Wednesday and Saturday.
Yeah.
Clients can visit the pantry once a month and shop for
You
their
got it? You all set?
The
Yeah.
pantry is open
Well, you might need to do the code again.
during
Do
the
the code?
pandemic.
Oh, yeah.
Anyone affected by the
Alright.
COVID-19
Yep.
crisis
Well, you don't want to ask me in the air, right?
No,
as a client,
it's Ocho Calf,
register by
right?
phone,
Yeah.
Ocho Calf.
Is that how you pronounce it?
I- It looks like it.
All right. And I got the address.
Okay.
will be returned by a volunteer who will add you to a list of clients. For the homebound or others who are self
Ocho Calf.
will shop
Yeah.
for
You
you.
just read the post.
Those who
You know what I
receive
mean?
directly to
Yeah.
your door. During the pandemic, we've taken all necessary precautions for the safety of clients and volunteers and have managed to remain open throughout the crisis.
Hi, this is Ray Brown.
Give me the phone real quick. I just need to double check the
Talking
address.
Birds, a show about wild birds, birding, and conservation.
Oh, you're wrong, the others, huh?
VBF.
Yeah, no, that would be bad.
Credit Union Studios at 14 Church Green.
765
Join us for
Bridge Street.
informative interviews and fun information about birds and birding.
Yeah.
It's Talking Birds,
Okay.
Saturday mornings at 8 and Sunday mornings at 9 here on WVBF, AM 1530 and 99.7 FM.
Hi, this is Jim Larkin. Hope you can join me every Sunday from noon to 2 o'clock here on WBBF, The Sounds of the Emerald Isle. We'll have some great Irish music, some folk, traditional, country, and contemporary, and sometimes some live singers in the studio. And to make you laugh, some Irish comedy. That's Sundays from noon to 2 right here on WBBF, 1530 Taunton, Middleboro, and on the internet at hometowntalkradio.com.
Alright. We're back. Alright. 3, 2, 1, 0. And we are back. Welcome back to Middleboro in review. Today is the 21st. Alright, cool.
Yeah,
Alright.
cool. You all right?
Yeah, I'm good.
You all right on Huh?
I needed a laugh. Alright.
Guy Smiley over there, right?
21st of
You know
March.
You know who Guy Smiley is, right?
Yes.
Who's Guy Smiley?
Who is he? I don't know.
I thought you said you knew who Guy Smiley was.
I thought I did. Who is he?
Never mind. You know, look him up. We'll talk about Guy Smiley next week, all right? A Guy Smiley moment over there.
Alright. Moving on. We have an update from Eileen Springer, who has been on this program. She's performed on this program.
She's performed on so many shows before. Jim's had her
And
on.
Jim's show as well, yes.
And other shows in the past. He's like definitely a good friend of the radio station, so we definitely want to plug this for her.
She posted on Facebook. She is starting a Sunday gig in Weymouth, Massachusetts at Ocho Caf, starting Sunday, April the 4th, 12 to 3 p.m. She'll be playing every Sunday. So make sure to join her for some great tunes.
I know she's been working on
every Sunday.
Oh, I'm sorry. I know she's been working on a new CD. I guess they get ready to. Her other CD is "Be Brave." That's I think the last one she did, or maybe the second to last one. I don't know, but when she was performing for you a couple of years ago, a year and a half ago, I think she did a few songs with that. But Ocho, what is that, Joey?
I think it's Ocho.
Ocho Calf in Weymouth. Their address is 765 Bridge Street. It's Route 3A. It's up near the Lowe's on the Hingham 9. It's somewhere there, I think in the mall or somewhere. But you can't miss it. But she's a great performer, and it's our pleasure to let everyone know to check out Eileen Springer. And I guess she's got, like I said, a new gig on Sundays between 12 and 3. So go check her out.
All right. Quick sports update. Let's give an update on the 3 Bruins players from the state of Massachusetts. Chris Wagner, born in Walpole, Massachusetts. This year's numbers, he's played in 23 games. He's gotten 2 goals and an assist for 3 points. Matt Grzelcyk, born in Charlestown. Played in 15 games. He's scored a goal and an assist for 9 points. And Charlie Coyle, born in East Weymouth. He's played in 27 games, 5 goals, 3 assists for 8 points. A update on the Patriots free agency. We have major updates with that. We've gotten some new players. We've signed 10 new players. Montravius Adams, defensive end, signed a 1-year contract. Kyle Van Noy has returned to the Patriots. He is a great defensive player. He'll be here 2 years on a $12 million deal. Ted Carreras is back under center. A 1-year, $4 million deal. Hunter Henry, a great tight end, played for the Chargers, and now he's playing in a Patriots uniform. And the one I am excited for, Nelson Aguilar. Nelson Aguilar signed a contract with the Patriots as well. So I am excited for these new players who have came in. I'm very excited. And there's some other major updates as well. Kenny Golladay has signed with the Giants. There's some other ones. Some other big ones is Juju Smith-Schuster decided to stay in Pittsburgh. But other than that, there hasn't been any other updates. Some of the big dominoes have fallen, but there's a few that haven't yet. So continue to wait on that. I know that there's some players who are visiting teams before making their decision. So if we have an update on that, we will give it maybe in the next 25 minutes. If no, I'll keep checking NFL. And if there's an update on a major player going somewhere, we'll break it right here. I do not think there'll be any major announcements at 7 a.m. on a Sunday morning, but we'll have to see. Well, you never know with the sports.
Yeah.
There's always something that comes up when you least expect it. So, if there's an update on any big player signing somewhere, we'll give you an update today.
Just by being on the air between 7 and 8, and something pops,
Yeah.
you're all over it.
Yeah.
If-
Exactly.
I mean, if you're vigilant enough.
We got some bad news for Connecticut Husky fans. They lost in the NCAA tournament in the first round to Maryland, 63-54. So they are going home. 7th ranked, or 7th, not 7th ranked, but they were 7th seeded in this tournament. And they're a very good team. Very good team this year, and they were just bested by a better team, by Maryland. Maryland was the better team yesterday. So, another team that was better and has a higher seed than their opponent was UCLA. UCLA, the 11th seeded team, beat BYU, the 6th seeded team. BYU College has had a great athletic season. Great athletic season for BYU. Their football team did very, very well. Their quarterback, their senior quarterback, is about to get drafted pretty high in the NFL draft. So BYU has done a very good job with their athletic program this year. And I'd love to see where it goes. I think BYU may be setting up for something big in the future. So that's something to keep an eye on. Another team to keep an eye on is Ohio. 13th seed, beat Virginia 62-58. Gonzaga, everyone's pick, or a lot of people's pick, to win, to run the gauntlet and to win the entire thing, beat Norfolk State 98-55. That was the 1 seed versus the 16 seed. Usually that happens. 1 seeds usually do this to 16 seeds. Sometimes there is games where that doesn't happen. Sometimes 16 seeds beat 1 seeds. That's happened before, but didn't happen here. Gonzaga is a tough team, and they will be a tough team to beat. Another tough team to beat is a team like Aberdeen Christensen University. Well, that's going to be another tough team to beat. They beat the Texas Longhorns 53-52. And there'll be some other ones today. 8th seeded Loyola, Illinois, or Loyola Chicago, who wasn't last year, because there wasn't a tournament last year, but the year before made a huge run in the NCAA tournament. This year they're 8th seeded, and they are taking on the number 1 seed, Illinois, in the second round. Tomorrow. Or no, not tomorrow. Today, actually, at 12. That will be one to see. I'll be very interested in that one. So, that's your sports update. Let's give an update on some blood drives coming up in the town of Halifax. Before, we have talked about this as well. As you hear a bird outside, you might not be able to hear it, but I heard a bird outside there for a second. Due to the need for blood drives and blood donations, and because the town's previous blood drives in 2020, this is Halifax, have gone so well, the town of Halifax is sponsoring additional Red Cross blood drives. Plural. So there is more than one. In the Great Hall of the Halifax Town Hall, 499 Plymouth Street, Halifax, Massachusetts, on the following dates. And these are all from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. And they are all on Fridays. And it goes as follows. April 9th, June 4th, August the 6th, October 15th, Friday, November 19th. Because of the season and the pandemic, the Red Cross has an urgent need for blood. Anyone interested can visit www.redcrossblood.org and type in 02338 to find the blood drive and to make an appointment. Also, East Taunton, the blood drive that we were talking about yesterday at Christ Community Church. There'll be another one in April as well. So, blood drives are important. We're going to keep mentioning them here on WBBF. On my show, you'll hear it during the week on the Morning Wake Up News as well. Very important to give blood during this time, during the pandemic. A lot of need for it. And there's still a lot of need for the blood drives as well outside of the pandemic as well. So, very important. Don, what are your thoughts on this?
I'm glad you mentioned it, and you reminded people that where to go, which is good. So that's good, and it doesn't take much time to mention it. So you're on the ball as far as that's concerned, in my opinion. And same with the food pantry and all the good things you've been doing as far as this show and this radio station is concerned. In my opinion, it's really helping the community out. And like I said, a lot of people may only listen to the show once a week. You never know. You never know people's listening habits. Who knows? We both have different listening habits, so it's good that some might just listen to this. They might listen to the show. They might go somewhere on a Sunday and they're in the car between 7 and 8, and they might just listen to the show, and that's it. I'm not saying that's the case, but it's good that you let people know all those things, and the blood drives and anything else. You could do it too, and it was good that you mentioned.
And also the dog licenses as well. They are due at the end of the month, March 31st. After that, April 1st and onward up until May. If you pay during that time, you will get assessed a late fee as well. So that's important to mention as well. You have a couple more days to go and get the dog licenses done if you haven't done so already. And that's important as well to have that mentioned today. And we'll mention it again next week as well as we approach the 31st. But yes, it's very important. All these events that are going on, all these important things to help the community. Very important that we mention them. Get the word out.
It's good that you mention it because people forget. Life's hectic and there's a lot going on. And just you mentioning about the dog licenses, they'll be like, oh yeah, that's right, I got to do that. I'm glad they said something about it because it's not on top of their head.
Yeah.
So a quick mention of that is good. And you probably could mention it next week too because you said the deadline's what?
The 31st.
So yeah.
The deadline when it comes to not facing a fine.
You're not facing a late fee.
Yeah.
So you could probably mention it next Sunday too, right?
Yeah.
One more time, and hopefully everyone got the message, and all the dogs are taken care of.
All right, real quick before we take a break. Take a break at 7:45. Let's give a quick update on elections. April the 3rd, Saturday, there'll be an election in Middleboro. And the positions, well, let's tell you the polling locations first. Middleboro has 4 polling locations. Precinct 1, Oak Point Clubhouse, 202 Oak Point Drive. Precincts 2, 4, and 6, Middleboro High School Gymnasium, 71 East Grove Street. Precinct 3, the South Middleboro Fire Station, 566 Wareham Street in Middleboro. And Precinct 5, Council of Aging, 558 Plymouth Street. And the polling hours for town elections are usually 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Town positions available. Board of Selectmen, there is 1 seat available for 3 years. Gas and Electric, 2 commissioner seats for 3 years. School Committee, 2 school committee members for 3 years. Board of Assessors, 1 assessor for 3 years. Town Moderator, 1 town moderator for 3 years. Finance Committee, 2 Finance Committee members for 3 years and 1 for 2 years. Planning Board, 1 Planning Board member for 5 years. Park Commissioner, there are 2 Park Commissioner seats available for 3 years. And Housing Authority, 1 Housing Authority member for 5 years. So those are the positions available, times, and places to go vote in this election. Please remember to go vote. It's very important. These elections, these annual town elections are very important. There are a lot of positions available.
That's a Saturday too, right?
And that's a Saturday.
So most people are off on Saturday, so that'd be a good opportunity for people to get out and take care of their voting.
All right. 7:43. We're going to take another commercial break. We are going to debut a sponsor, a new sponsor, Nicaragua Landscape Supply. You're going to hear that ad in just a moment. And then we'll come back. We'll talk a little bit about them as well. We'll mention a little bit. We'll thank them for sponsoring our show as well. Thank you, Nicaragua.
Thank you, Nick.
And we will hear that commercial right now. We'll be right back.
Nicaragua Landscape Supply, located at 457 Wareham Street in Middleboro, Massachusetts, just off of Route 28 and 495, is the place to go for all your landscaping needs. They supply stone, mulch, firewood, loom, granite, and seashells. They also have certified playground wood chips. Call 508-947-5363 to order and schedule a delivery.
I'm Reverend Liz Walker of the Roxbury Presbyterian Church and former TV news anchor, and I'm here with pediatrician Reverend Gloria Campbell.
Together, we want to remind everyone in Massachusetts about the importance of vaccinations. Amidst a global pandemic, routine doctor's visits and vaccinations like the yearly flu vaccine are more important than ever.
With our healthcare system pushed to its limits in fighting COVID-19, it's critical to get your annual flu shot.
I think we might talk about the Orange Line next week.
Illness, hospitalization, and
What? The derailment?
Yeah, we'll talk about it next week.
Well, it's old news next week, Joe. So we talk about it today. I don't talk about it at all.
Okay, yeah, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about the Amtrak thing next week.
Yeah, talk about the Amtrak thing.
Because we kind of, 14 minutes left. I want to, this might be a thing that takes about 10 minutes. Because we have a lot of thoughts about this. It's a very big issue.
Oh, well, whatever. It's just, how long is the read?
St. Vincent de Paul.
I don't think it's that long.
Serves the residents of the towns of Middleboro.
But yeah, it's a mess.
Any views on the Facebook?
Paul did tune in. Yep, Paul tuned in. I don't know who else did, but Paul tuned in. He also said good morning, Joe, as well.
In our service area, and many of them come to us for various types of aid. This can take many forms and include many of the following programs: utilities and rent assistance, agency referrals, clothing and furniture vouchers, and temporary lodging. For more information, go to svdbmiddleboro.org. May the good Lord bless you and keep you safe.
Combat Veteran Motorcycle Association is an association of combat veterans from all branches of the United States Armed Forces
Bam.
who ride motorcycles
Alright.
as a hobby. Our mission is to support those who have defended our country in
I'm gonna give an update on what's coming up for the
veteran care
programs.
facilities provide a warm meal, clothing, shelter, and guidance, or simply to say thank you and welcome home. We have members from overseas and living abroad. Many members continue to serve in the armed forces, with several serving in combat areas now. We sponsor and or participate in many motorcycle-related charity events each year, and as a nonprofit organization, donate to various veteran care facilities and veteran charities. To learn more about the Combat Veteran Motorcycle Association and how you can join or support, please visit cvma2-2.org.
And we're back here on Middleboro Review. Welcome back. Today is the 21st of March, like we have mentioned before several times. I always mention it several times, what the date is and everything else. I think that's important. In case, this show gets replayed. I'm not recording it, so it will not get replayed, but I always, for all my shows, when I was recording them, I would say the date because it's important to do that. Yeah. Moving on from that.
Okay, guy.
Moving on from that, I just thought I would mention why I always say the date on the show. Why I always say the date. So that's why.
Because most people do it.
No, that's why I do it. So.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Moving on. What's coming up after today's program? Well, I got Bread of Life coming up at 8:05 after the news. After the USA radio news. A lot of news coming up. A lot of news on the USA radio news today as well. So, you'll hear the USA Radio News. You'll hear all the national updates that are going on currently. And then after that, you will hear Bread of Life, Pastor Ortez Vancross. And you will hear the program, 2018, the year of release. That's an old program that will be played today. And at 8:30, the Rosary. At 9 o'clock, you'll hear a great program, Talking Birds, with Ray Brown. A lot of great information about birds and birding subjects as well. A lot of great interviews with bird experts. And a lot of just great things that he has as well. He has a mystery bird contest as well, which I think is pretty fun. So, you got that coming up at 9. 9:30, Keys of the Kingdom coming up. 10 o'clock, our newer program, All on God, that started it back in December. That would be on at 10 o'clock. At 11 o'clock, Musical Odyssey. And today's program is called A Tale of Two Sopranos. So you'll have a lot of great music at the 11 o'clock hour with sounds of the Musical Odyssey. And the other program I'm thinking about, I almost said Sounds of an Emerald Dial. That's not on at 11, it's on at 12 with Jim Larkin. So 12 o'clock, Jim Larkin, 12 to 2. You'll have a lot of great Irish music, a lot of great Irish comedy. And at 2 o'clock, Stand Up Strong with Ed Miller and Tony Branch rounds out this Sunday. A lot of great programming on Sundays here on WBF. And also, when we're off the air, the Talking Information Center has a lot of great programming as well. So listen here all day.
24/7.
24/7. And Monday, of course, another start to another week. And Chris Keach will be in at 7 to 9, and all the other great programming as well during the week. So, yeah. All right, let's give an update on the program schedule. Let's finish today's show. I want to talk a little bit about the topic of the Orange Line and also Red Line as well. Orange Line and Red Line trains have been taken out of service. The MBTA has pulled them out of service.
The new trains.
The new trains, yep.
Right.
The shuttle buses will replace a stretch of Orange Line train service for the next 3 weeks, while MBTA crews replace a track switch damaged during a derailment on Tuesday. The all-new trains on the Orange and Red Lines will be taken out of service for an investigation. Buses will continue to run between Oak Grove and Sullivan Square stations for 3 more weeks while workers replace the decades-old switch. The T described the switch as significantly damaged due to the slow-speed derailment at Wellington Station. Ridership is way down during the pandemic, covering around 25% of the roughly 208,000 average weekday trips on the Orange Line taken in February last year. But tens of thousands of travelers will likely be affected by the disruption in service. Investigators have not determined the cause of the derailment, which occurred while one of the 4 new Orange Line trains was crossing from the northbound track to the southbound track to accommodate a work zone. None of the roughly 100 passengers on board nor any workers were injured. The MBTA will pull the remainder of the new Orange Line and Red Line cars manufactured by CRRCMA from service for a undetermined amount of time to examine whether anything related to the vehicles contributed to the derailment. Officials removed Orange Line trains from service at least 3 other prior occasions. September 2019 after a door leaf opened mid-trip. November 2019 due to a faulty pad interface creating noise. And March of 2020 because of a problem with faulty bolsters. A high-profile Red Line derailment in June of 2019, which prompted the appointment of an outside panel to review MBTA's safety, created months of delays. So this has been a problem for the new Orange Line and Red Line trains since they've been introduced into service. Like the article had mentioned, 3 separate times it's been taken out of service because of one problem or another. And this adds to the frustration that a lot of people do have with the MBTA. A lot of people do have frustration with the way it's run, and this just adds to it. That the MBTA has to continue to take their new trains that they have put in to service out of service because of several issues. Don, what are your thoughts about this?
Couple things. All right, they iron out the bugs on the new trains. I understand that, but they're new trains. There shouldn't be many bugs. Give me a break, okay? Number 2, it could be a switching problem. It may not be a train problem after the investigation's done. So it might have been this faulty switch. But why are they doing this work during the day? Why aren't they doing this track work at night? I mean, every time you have to switch, you know, there's a potential problem of an incident, and there was one. So they probably don't use the switch as much until lock and switch. So unless it was an emergency repair, why are they doing it during the day? Why, now it's down, now between, what he says, Sullivan Square and Oak Grove, 3 weeks of busing, really? I don't understand why they just can't do it. It's just, it baffles my mind that they're doing it in the middle of the day. What time this happened? Sometime Tuesday, right?
Mm-hmm.
During the day, right?
Yeah. Yes.
What's up? I mean, why can't they just do this at night? Break out some lights, and that way they can run a couple,
And the article did mention it.
And
It was
just
a
shut the trap
decades old switch that
maybe it wasn't switched all the way.
maybe that could have been the problem.
Yeah.
And this should, if this was the cause of the problem, this should really worry the MBTA, and the MBTA should be maybe doing an investigation on some of the switches in the Boston
I
area.
understand that, but it's just like I said. Normally, if you did it at night, there's no trains running the system. Do your work, and don't even play with the switches. Now they're playing with switches and all this stuff, and there could be problems. You could generate problems, and obviously a problem is generated on Tuesday. I don't understand why other agencies do stuff at night. I don't understand why they do it all night. It's not like the MBTA runs 24/7. They need to get some lessons from New York, how they run that, because they run a 24/7 subway system, and they do all their maintenance, and they do everything. You don't hear about that stuff in New York. You only hear about Boston. I don't know. Maybe it's the way they do things gets them in trouble. I'm not sitting here saying, "Oh my God, the system's falling apart" or whatnot. I don't think so. I just think it's just a setup of steps that have just done wrong, in my opinion.
Yeah.
They should have been doing this work at night. They have no reason to even be switching anything. Switching anything. I know they do it on the Braintree at the end of the line. That they switch over from side to side. But that's used all the time. But this might have been just a switch that they only do every once in a while for work.
Well, if there is any more updates on this issue, we will give it to you.
Trying to grease up the switches, that's what I say.
Yeah, they have to maybe do an investigation on some of the switches.
We need our trains back.
If that is the problem.
We pay for these trains. Taxpayers in Massachusetts are paying for these new trains.
Yes.
And you're going on 2.5
And they
years.
cannot be
And they're not
continuing
using
to take them out of service. So we will give updates on this as we go along. If there's any more updates, if there is an update on
do you work at
the
night?
investigations.
Do your work at night. Don't be switching as many switches. Granted, they're supposed to work, and it's good that they do work.
Yeah.
And then now they got to go and check every switch.
Well,
they should be checking every switch anyway.
Don, I have to cut you off. It is 8:00. So
Okay.
real quick. Today in history is real quick. Alcatraz Federal Penitentiary in California closes on this date I almost said 1863. It's actually 1963. 1980, U.S. President Jimmy Carter announces a U.S. boycott of the 1980 Summer Olympics to protest the Soviet-Afghan War. The 1980 Summer Olympics took place in Moscow. 1965, Dr. Martin Luther King leads 3,200 people on the start of the third and finally successful civil rights march from Selma to Montgomery, Alabama. Birthdays. Happy birthday, Timothy Dalton. One of the Bonds.
He did 2 movies.
Did 2 movies, yes. And happy birthday to Ferris Bueller. Or maybe some other people may know him as the Music Man, Matthew Broderick.
Oh, I love Ferris Bueller.
1962 he was born. Yeah, so he did Ferris Bueller, and of course he did the remake of Music Man. 2 really good films he was in. So, it's 8:02. We're going to take our leave, and we will be back next week, the 28th of March. Have a great week, everybody. Bye-bye. No. There we go. Yeah. Yep.
Like crying about the tea. It's true though. They just work at night.
No, yeah. Well, they
Stuff
should.
on it. You know,
Yeah. No, they should be able to do
they're
this.
more switching than they have to, and running how many trains around the work zone.
They should be able to do this at night.
They have to do it at night. The only time they should do it at night. But these guys don't want to work at night.
All right. Bye bye, everybody. Have a great week.